Alright, here is a mock-up. This is exactly the same feet that I've got on the fish tank, and I had to remake one just to do this video, so now I got an extra feet for no reason, just because of the last comments I made. These are small feet, and I made these holes for a reason, and because that was missed, there was questions asked. And like I said, when I'm doing videos, I can't remember every little detail to have to explain to you guys what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, and when I'm going to do it. So this is what the feet looks like, and I just cut the groove in this. See, when this here looks like that right there on the tank on the bottom. So what I did was cut this part out right here so that this would slide up in there like that and go all the way up in there to here. So then I tack welded everything, and then this plate right here I'm going to cut in whatever the width is. That's what I'm going to make the length. So it's going to make a square piece, and then once I've done my square piece, then I'm going to cut the corners at an equal and make it a stop sign shape. So we're going to have 6-sided feet, pads to bolt to the existing holes that I already put in, the ones that's on the fish tank. So I didn't drill all the holes, but I didn't know what size I was going to need, but this one here is a mock-up of that. So we're making the pads with this because we want to spread the load out across the floor, because like the last comment I had, yes, there's a lot of weight to those fish tanks. This is not my first rodeo. I have had fish tanks all my life, and I've never had a failure, ever. You know, my fish tanks always look good, and I don't have to work hard at it to make it happen. So anyway, we're going to cut these down. So now we're going to cut this in equal length. So we're going to get us a measurement here, if this thing will open far enough. All right, we are at 5 inches. So these are going to be 5-inch square, just like so. Enjoyed the music. Alright, so now what I've done is taken and clamped all 4 of these down to the bandsaw with the corner up against that as square as we can possibly get it. Now we're going to do our stop sign shape. So we'll cut this and then we'll go to the grinder. Alright, so now we've got these made, and I'm going to keep all of them together, and then we're going to stick this in here. One of them slipped on me. And we're going to grind this and make it nice and pretty. Alright, so now we've got these here made, and these are going to be our feet. And those will mount just like that right there. Of course, this is not it, but those will mount right there just like that. And this will spread the load out from the weight of the fish tank. So now we have to go in and get the fish tank stand and bring it out here and drill the rest of the holes. Now this here is the screws that I decided to use because it's the only thing that I had 16 of. I may only use 8 of them, 2 in each one, but we're gonna use those, and we'll countersink those, and that will go in this just like that, and you got just enough threads coming out to go through that, and it ain't going to go through the bottom. So that's our plan. So let me go get the fish tank stand and bring it back in the shop, and I'm going to do some cleaning up on the floor before we get started, and we'll be back. Well guys, originally I had planned on screwing these things onto this, but there's two reasons why I'm not going to do that. Number one, I don't have enough room in each one of these corners to put a bolt and then thread into the pad, and I'd rather them be welded anyway, so we're just going to stick weld them, simply because I ran out of flux core wire on my welder. Don't know when I'm ever going to get any more, but pretty much done with the welder, the MIG welder, until I can figure out how I'm going to get that. So we're going to have to stick weld them, and we're just going to bead weld them, stick weld them, and be done with it. So we're going to get us 2 rods out here. I imagine that's all we're going to need. And this is why I keep my floor clean when I'm getting ready to weld, because I don't want to catch anything on fire. And so we're just going to weld on each side of this, on all of them, and then I'll turn it around and we'll do the same thing to the other side. So let me get set up and get ready to do this. Got my racing helmet. Now we're using E6011 3/32 rod. Well, that rod ain't doing very good, so we're going to go with the 6011s, not the E6011s. So we're going to try this one out. Alright, now we've got the pads welded on it, and we're going to have to repaint it. And it's raining out there, and it's just god awful nasty out there. It's been that way for the last day or so. So, to be honest with you, I think I do a better job with stick welding than I do with MIG welding. Of course, it helps if you got gas for your welder. I don't have any gas for my MIG welder. I don't think I've ever, in fact I know, I've never had gas for a MIG welder. And that would really improve on your welds. But, you know, it's still not the best looking welds, and somebody mentioned that I should show them the weld. He wanted to see a close-up of my welds. That ain't going to happen because I'm ashamed of my welds. So, you know, I don't weld often enough for me to show it off. Get over that, Matt. Oh, by the way, I wanted to mention Matt in one of my videos. He's in the hospital right now with problems with, well, I'm not going to tell what his problems are. It's not my responsibility to say that, but I just wanted to say his name is Green Titan on YouTube. He doesn't do any videos. I think he maybe have 2 of them, and they're just very short. But he's been a long-time subscriber of mine, and he's been with me from the beginning of time, since I started Bison Workshop. And I would like to ask everybody to put a prayer out there for him. I don't know if he's out yet. They say that he may come home, but he's having problems, and it was kind of touch and go from what I understand. So everybody say a prayer for him. You don't need to know the reason why he's there, just that he needs prayer. So thank you for that if you do. These are the feet, and the reason I put them on wood is because that metal is hot, and I didn't want it to melt my plastic or rubber. So anyway, I'll clean this mess up later. That will end this part of the fish tank feet. And now the sides is going to be out of wood. So that's how we're going to mount, or that's how we're going to do cross bracing. Instead of doing cross bracing to sturdy it, I don't think that thing's going to go anywhere the way it is. But I'm like, I can't remember your name. I'll put it down here at the bottom. I'm like him. It does need to be braced, but my plan was not to use cross bracing. My plan was to use 3/4 inch plywood for the sides and the back. So this stand is going to be the safest stand that you'll ever see. So or at least one of the safest. So don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and don't be too quick to think that I don't have this thing under control, because you don't know what's up here. I do. Y'all might think I'm crazy, but it's not. I got this. Anyway, you guys have a good one, and have a blessed day. Later.